Kenneth Berger Company is Black Series Edition LLC. Now, for those of you saying, I thought you said you were going to do any more demonstrations inside of the apartment. I'm not doing demonstrations inside the apartment. This is a test. I have to do this here. I can't do this at the other place because really can't be leaving this stuff laying around right now. Because again, stuff gets broken, stuff can get damaged, the stuff is all glass. I feel safer with it here. Unless they have a section, I gotta ask them today if there's an area where I can put my equipment and stuff at, so that way I don't have to worry about anything getting damaged or anything like that, because I got people moving about the unit. But anyway, let's get back to this. This is very important. So anyway, I got asked this question quite a few times. What happens if the invisible technology is painted on a surface that's non-transparent? Well, we have a mirror here. Well, actually, it wasn't a mirror. This is actually a picture frame with a mirror behind it, and it had some graphic art on it. If I were to actually put this on lighter, which I didn't, I put down a heavy coat because I wanted to see how many applications it would take to cover the surface and make it black or make it dark or make it untransparent, which I don't even know about that yet. It probably, well, it still would be transparent. It doesn't make a difference because light can travel through it. Sunlight can travel through it. Everyday light can travel through it. That means basically that, yeah, it would be transparent. It'd just be darker and you would have less visibility on basically seeing objects on the opposite side of the window, seeing right through it. So that only thing would happen. But other than that, it takes quite a few coats in order to turn it that dark. It really does. It has the possibilities because the mirror has it on it. But the glass that we have here was only put, I didn't cover the whole entire mirror. Just wanted to see if some areas were covered lighter and some areas were covered heavier, what would be the reaction? It looks like it all blends in at one point. So I'm gonna take my hand and cover over the projector so you can see that part of the mirror. That's our blue screen behind it. That's our aqua paint. We use that for basically fish tank projection screens displayed. I'm gonna be doing one pretty soon at an establishment. But anyway, half of the mirror is coated with some of it is coated heavier, lighter, put on different shades to see how it would react. Quite frankly, all of it blends together, but still, the surface would be transparent. The thing is that it wouldn't be that clear transparent that we have there on the glass. But the glass still does pick it up with no problem. Mind you, that's the glass that we had in the window that was absorbing sunlight. So that technology has the ability to actually eat sunlight, which is extremely important when you're doing storefront property, because again, they have to be able to use the advertisement from the time they walk into the building or establishment and turn on the projector all the way from 12 noon all the way to 3, 4, 5, whatever, and whatever time they close, they have to use it. So that's something that does come up a lot. When can I use it? Can I use it early in the morning? What about sunlight? And these are questions that come up. This is why it's important to have all these tests done, so that way we can go in and answer these questions. This is why you don't rush products. This is why you don't fake specifications, because again, this is going to pop up. You might be able to get away with some stuff online, but in real life out there, in the real world out there, where people are right up in your face, you can't get away with that nonsense. They don't want to hear it. They want to see results. That's what they want to see. So one of the things that popped up was, what if I paint this on a surface that's non-transparent? Actually, you can. You can paint it on a surface that's not transparent. And you would still pick up contrast. You would still pick up the whole thing that our technology right here will pick up. So it has two different versions, that's two different capabilities. Now, over here, you're seeing the two containers. We have to be to show also too, how clear is it? So if one person does the first application and the application comes up, it's going to come up clear. How clear is the application? How well can you see right through the surface? So these are what we have here in the corner right here. I've been through this before because, like I said, I've worked with invisible technology with companies before. We had a company that paid us some money to go in and just engineer a product for them. But what was more important for them, it had to come up really, really clear because they were using it for some form of holograms. So I'll show you what we have here. Now, this is the coating splashed around in this container right here. And this is without the coating right here. So we have to be able to show how clear it is. See how you can see my fingers on the other side? So you can see my fingers here. That's how clear it is. Some people want it a little darker, but now we realize now we can add multiple shades to add it darker. But if we're going to do multiple shades, 32 will not be enough to do this. You would literally need a gallon to do a multi-shade. But this, we have to show exactly in the day how clear it's going to come up on the glass of storefront windows. You can see my hands on this side and this side. Now, also too, this is also a good solution, this area here. If we're dealing with a storefront window that doesn't want to be painted, because you're going to run into those too. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually get a custom 4x8, because the ones they have on Amazon were nice. They were 28 bucks, good price, but I didn't want $100 for them. So we're going to go someplace. A friend of mine who works at a plastic shop. He makes those sheets of plastic and plastic buckets and all that stuff. And he told me he could give me those sheets for pretty much extremely cheap, very, very cheap, cheaper than what we're getting at Amazon. We're going to coat those, and those will be pre-coated for people who cannot change or touch the glass, period, because this stuff is permanent. So this will allow them to be able to take the surface, click it to the window, hit it with the ultra short throw projector, advertise to a 100-inch surface, and then when they get done, they can take it off, roll it up, put it inside of a box, be done. That's it. And take it with them. That's going to be pre-coated. Now that'll be later on at the end of the year, because we're going to bring professionals and do that. They're going to be hiring a couple of professional painters that'll be spraying that application on. And then you could pretty much decide on how dark or how light you want it. They'll be doing that at the end of the day. All right, so these are some of the tests that I had to figure out while going through when you're developing. That's why I said when you hear people saying about doing rear technology, there's a lot of stuff you have to be to show. You can't just say you have rear, has capable of rear. There's a lot of things that can go wrong when you're dealing with rear technology. So one of the things, if you're going to be advertising, especially for window advertising and all that, you have to make sure that it can absorb sunlight. That would help a lot, because then now if you don't have that capability, you have hours on when the product can work. That's why on our outdoor projection screens, we have it there in specifications where we say, okay, this stuff works best between 5 and 6, or if you're at 6 o'clock, or if you're 8 or 9, you can use 1,000 lumens. If you're at 6,000, 4,000 lumens. The reason why we know all this, because I had to sit up there, stick a camera out there, and literally just wait to see exactly, come out and see, wait, just like you saw me with the glass, like come out, look at the time, okay, we're at 12 o'clock, come out, look at the time, it's at 9 o'clock. All those videos that were popping up wasn't for the fact we're showing off. I was testing the screen. This is something that has to be done. Because when I walk up to somebody and say, hey, look, 12 o'clock, can you show me this? I can say, yeah, I was outside at 12 o'clock. Here's the timestamp, 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 timestamp. That's how we know. Now we can write our specification sheet on it because we did the test. That's why all of those videos that pop up is not to annoy you at the end of the day. It has to be done. We have to know what this stuff can do. Because I am not going to walk into any establishment, any form of business or whatever, even on YouTube, and look like an idiot. So that's where all these tests have to be done. But anyway, that glass right there, I'll play a video so you can see it. I have to get ready because I'm going to be on site today with the kitties. Yeah, they're going to have movie time today.
Most people have no clue that in 2023 the best way to.
So it's interesting on a mirror. Man, it comes out really nice on the mirror. So it comes up really nice on a mirror. Contrast, yes, it's going to be better here because it's a surface. It's much more darker. Contrast is going to be lighter here. And since we now know that this product has the ability to absorb sunlight, well, indoor use for this stuff is going to be pretty interesting because, again, it's not going to have any issues. But then again, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't, because it's so would be the transfer. The light has to literally transfer through it in order for it to react. That sun killer. You can't spray that stuff on a non-transparent surface. It's not going to work. Light has to filter through it. It's how it works. So if you were to take this stuff, and we advise you don't do it, and spray this on your screen, Yeah, it's gonna take a while to paint that in. If you're gonna paint that on a motorized projection screen, just stick to the products we have here would be much better for the application. This is gonna take some time. You're gonna have to do multi-coats to do it because it was never designed for front. The surface has to be the transfer light. A mirror can transfer light. So let me explain to you a little bit about the physics of a mirror and transparent technology. The mirror has a reflective surface on the other end. Because the technology is basically designed that light can pass through it. Light is literally passing through the screen, hitting the mirror, and bouncing back out. The mirror actually, if you hit a mirror with light, mirrors do, right? They reflect a ton of light coming back at you. Matter of fact, these use mirrors as a form of Morse code back and forth in the Wild Wild West, basically to talk and communicate with each other back and forth because they reflect that light. So when the projector fires off, it transfers through the product, it hits the mirror reflects light and pushes it right back out. See, this is the kind of stuff, and I hate to be rude here well, not saying rude, to the naysayers, you don't crack books. That's why I talk like this on camera, because I do a ton of research on stuff, and you have to be able to crack books. It's very important in order to understand how the physics of light operate. This is how light operates. So that's why it's reflecting off the mirror. To paint this on a piece of, oh gee whiz, that would take literally forever. The mirror would have a better chance of coating than a surface that's non-reflective. I don't know, I'm not going down that road. It's gonna be a complete headache to do to begin with. It's just gonna waste a ton of freaking formula to begin with to do it. It's just gonna be too much work. There's gonna be way too much work. Yeah, this is just, we're gonna keep its rear, unless you're using something reflective. We can put mirrors in there now, but if you put mirrors in there, it's gonna be, oh, no. Oh, it would be a multi-coat application. But if it had an image actually in the mirror, you probably could basically display an image behind the back of that and push that right back out. Yeah, because I'm seeing areas here. So, I gotta bring it close to see this. So areas here where we want lighter, and you don't see the lamp glare. There's no lamp glare pushing off. But areas where we wanted lighter, just to see what would happen. Areas we wanted much darker, and areas we wanted lighter again. So basically, lighter areas, you would be able to pick up the image if you had some kind of imprint on the glass. You would be able to bring that image back at you. You would be able to see the image, but also too, you would be able to see the what's the word for it? You would be able to see the image that you're projecting off the glass. If you were to do this on this, would, of course, the mirror would not be rear projection technology. It wouldn't work that way because you have to have a backing on the back of a mirror in order for it to actually reflect. So, a black backing or something to cover it, that light can't transfer through, because then it wouldn't be a mirror anymore. It should be a shiny surface. But the main concern, you wouldn't have to worry about lamp glare so much if you use an ultra short throw, because ultra short throw can cancel out lamp glare. That right there altogether would be fantastic. We actually would work much better. Because if you're doing a mirror and you do it with a clear coat, one coat application, what's going to happen is you're going to get lamp glare. It's going to bounce back at you. Oh, wait a minute. Does the lamp glare activate to the front? I think lamp glare activates to the back. Let me see something for a minute. I'm curious. I'm always curious. I don't know. Let me see something. Well, no. If we're using a piece of glass in the front, oh yeah, you would get that reaction because we're on a side angle here. Let me bring it over for a minute. Yeah, see that right there? See that glare moving back and forth? You would definitely get that if you use a piece of glass and use the front projection, especially if you used it with the clear coat. If you're doing front projection, you would get that. Now, if we were to move the glass and put it back over here, like so, and then you won't see it anymore. It's not there. It's just on the mirror. The mirror would give it a much better image due to the fact that, like I said, it's reflecting light right back at you. So that's interesting right there to see right there. But like I said, the clear glass is used for the main purpose of this technology was to be designed for a form of window projection. That's what it's for. It has to be transparent. And I would definitely use ultra short though, so you don't have to worry about the lamp glare pushing through. Now, if you were going to coat this onto a mirror and you were going to use multiple coats to make it darker, then you wouldn't have to worry about lamp glare from the long throw projector. That wouldn't happen. If we did a light coat on it and the mirror was still present, with a light coat covering it, like a dusting like we have here, then you would have the lamp glare pushing back at you. Yeah. I'm gonna get something else on here too. So this helps me give me a better understanding of what technology we're working with. But yeah, to spray this on, if you're going to do a multi-coat application, you still would be to transfer through. Even if it's that dark, you still light would be to transfer through it because of the way it's designed. But it would just take a lot of coats to do it. Where the glass, on the other hand, is a one coat application. We don't need it for that because we're going to be transferring the image right through it. We need it on glass, we need it for advertisement. But if you're going to be doing the multi-coat, you're going to need more than 32 ounces. You're going to need a gallon to do that. To make it that dark. So we're going to put gallons as a special request. So if you're interested in getting a gallon of this technology for other purposes besides painting through glass, for use for glass advertisement, you have to email us for that, for us to send you an invoice for that. That's the only time we do gallons or do invoices. But other than that, it looks quite nice on the mirror. Now see how we have the lamp glare here from the projector right there. Let's switch over to the mirror. It cancels out because the mirror has multi-layers on it. That's why, multi-layers, and it's darker. But you can't use this for window. You can use this for window technology right here. Which is interesting because this is the one that will absorb sunlight, which is when it's clear. This one right here, I don't know about that yet. I'll have to have it next to a window with some sunlight. There's no way in the world we're going to stick it in the window because light can transfer through if it's darker. But because this is a non-transparent surface, it's not going to transfer through. So what I'm going to have to do is I have to make two applications on the glass. I have to make one much heavier and one much lighter. That's what we'll have to do. Now keep in mind, for those of you, I've seen some people with like prints on their glass. These are the prints you have on your glass. Some people have prints on their glass. If you do this with a one coat, you're going to see the print on your glass that you have embossed on your glass. But keep in mind, you're going to have to use ultra short throws for that because again, projector is going to cause lamp glare to reflect off the surface. But I can see it does have many uses we can use it for. And its gain capabilities, well, we can't put we're going to have to change the labels now because the labels can't have ADB on it or advanced ambient light rejection because if they think this stuff does it, they're going to think the rest of the stuff does it. So it has to have its own category class of gain because it's the only screen paint we have right now that can absorb sunlight. So we're going to be changing the labels and we're going to be changing the abbreviation of what we call it. And this is the reason why at the end of the day, the whole 0.9 and 2.0, we don't do that stuff in the day. We design our own stuff at the end of the day. I had that discussion in a couple of forums. So you can't make your own gain. Oh, yes, the heck we can. We're right now, we have a screen to eat sunlight. Okay. Ask me about that one. So, you know, we got screens to sit outside and pull out, produce some beautiful images, fully lit environments. I'm not trying to brag here, but if you go on YouTube, when you look at ambient light rejection technology, we come up. Our demonstrations are literally unmatched. So yes, we can call our gain whatever we want to call it because we engineered it, we designed it. Everybody else is sitting in the dark with a 2.0 and 3.0. No, I don't like that gain at all. Period. It's too low. So ours is a chemical. It's basically abbreviated on what it is. We don't put it into a gain territory or basic category of saying that, oh, it's this and that. Nope, ours is completely different. That's why it has a name, Advanced Ambient Light Rejection. That's what it stands for. I've seen that when the lead screen came up with the CRT, what was it, the ceiling CLT, ceiling light rejection technology that they developed. So the screen actually light comes down, it's able to absorb it. So we don't go with that 2.0 and all that stuff game. Nah, that stuff is it's old. It's old. If I'm going to develop a technology, I want something that's different from the everyday projection screen. That's why our demonstrations are different from everybody else. So you show me a gain right now, a gain anywhere that can absorb sunlight. There is no gain that can absorb sunlight. It doesn't even exist. We have it, and we call it something else. I can't call it a 2.0, 3. We're not calling it that at the end of the day. I don't want to be category like everybody else. I think I made that comment one time. I don't want to be in the same category as other projection screens. I just don't want to be in that category. I wish we can just design something completely different, a whole different category where we can be in. Because we don't do the same demonstrations. Everybody does the same stuff. Dark environments, high-end projectors, calibrated machines, ambient light controlled environments, and blah, blah, blah. It's the same. I don't want to be in that category. Now, that stuff, because this stuff now can take that hit from that sunlight, and we can stick this stuff anywhere we want. But the mirror, yeah, it did extremely good on the mirror, but you just have to darken it. Different shades, because you have to be to cancel out that lamp glare. Let's try to use ultra short throw. Came out nice on the mirror. So that means the shade applications are pretty good, so that's good. But most likely, if anything, it's probably going to be used for what it was intended to be used for, and that is for window advertising, because that's what we designed it for. So we had a few people acquiring about the technology for their glass displays. We actually made the product available yesterday because we had some people that are already want to get it on their glass, and they want to start bringing more foot traffic to their front door, and this stuff will do it. I'll be doing a larger piece of glass today too. I just found out that when I was in their basement area, they have these large sheets of glass. They're good size too, around 50 inches. That's perfect. That's fantastic for testing. We're not testing, we're done with testing, but that's just some things I want to see at the end of the day. I do it on a larger display. Tape that thing up in the window and get that started. All right, people, that's basically about it. Don't need too much of your time. I got to be showered, shaved, out the door. I'm going to be on site today. Hope you enjoyed the demonstration. We do this. I do this strictly for documenting my work because it's very important that I document everything. That way I can always go back and say, okay, but this here, and that here, that. So I go back and I watch the Sun Killer, which is the original one, and I look at it compared to what we have now. And the one we have now is actually better than the one we actually developed a while ago, which I'm just really shocked, so shocked over that, because again, we thought we would have to make that formula integrated with this stuff in order to get it to absorb sunlight, to find out it already had that capability. Even more crazy, that surface right there, that piece of glass was sitting on my refrigerator. I told you for 2 weeks. I was going to throw it in the trash. Good thing I didn't do that. I didn't do it. The good thing I didn't do it. Do that. That's not a word. See my projector in eco mode? Right there. We don't run projectors in here on full blast. For what? These screens generate tons of light. All my projectors in here run on eco mode. We don't even have a brightness up on these things. I need it. Screens are bright. All right, that's all I need to know. All right, so we found out that reaction on the mirror, which is going to take multiple coats. If you do have some form of engraving on the glass, on your glass mirror, and you want to use this application onto it, maybe to change the scenery in the background, that's what some reason for changing scenery, we do advise ultra short throws if you're going to go with a clear coat. If you're going to be doing a multi-coat, then you can use long throw, ultra short. That doesn't make a difference. You're not going to have the lamp glare issue. If you're doing this, keep in mind for our window glass technology, which you're seeing right there, pretty much one coat application and you're done. Because that stuff's designed to go on fast and it's concentrated. If we're going to have people doing the installs, if I'm doing an install, I do not want to be sitting there all day. I'm like, done. That's where I want it. And this gives us an idea of exactly how clear the formula is, because you can see my fingers on the other end compared to the surface that's not painted. So that's important too also to see. You know, it's interesting. We showed this stuff off in a window and we did a demonstration with contrast levels. I'm gonna do some more contrast levels on top of that. And it was able to pull that black level up, which is pretty cool. Sunlight. All right, gotta go. Thank you all and God bless.